And I'm going to share my screen with you all. And let's start by looking at this hand here. I hope you can all see that, where you open 2 no trump and your partner takes you to 3 no trump. And the opponents lead the 4 of spades. So if we take a minute and make a plan here, we can see we're going to make 1 spade trick, 2 heart tricks, 2 diamond tricks, and we've got some clubs to make here. We're going to make 4 or 5 clubs, and we're going to play the clubs. We're going to try a club finesse, I expect, and see if we can avoid losing to the king. We are, however, in a bit of danger in the spade suit. We've just got the ace and the jack in dummy. So we're in a bit of danger there. Let's suppose we start by playing a low card from dummy. And let's suppose East plays the king of diamonds. Okay, so I'm going to launch a poll now for you. And the question is, what are you going to, sorry, the 2 parts of the question. Who's got the queen of spades? And the second part is, what are you going to play from your hand? Are you going to win this with the ace or play the 9? So 2 parts to this question, this first poll. Who has the queen of spades? And what are you going to play from your hand? I'll give you a moment to think about it before I launch that poll. Okay, let's end the poll and look at the results. And for the first question, nearly 80% of you went for West. We'll look at that in a moment. And then in terms of what to play, most of you said the 9 of spades, but 1/3 said the ace of spades. So let's have a look at that hand again and see what we think. Well, West here has led the 4 of spades, and that presumably is their best suit. And we presume that they have at least a 4-card suit, and it must contain 1 or more honors. So I think West is much more likely to have the queen than East. East has played the king there. Actually, if East is playing correctly, if they had the king and the queen, they would have played the queen. So that's another bit of evidence. And it all suggests, as most of you agreed, that West has the queen of spades. And if West does have the queen of spades, can you see that your jack of spades is protected? But only if you win this trick with the ace. We're going to look at this played 2 different ways, one playing the ace and one not playing the ace. So if we play the ace, we will now, let's see, now we want to go after the club. So we might cross over to dummy and lead the 10 of clubs. And we're trying the finesse here. But if the finesse loses and West wins the king of spades, can you see that your jack of spades is protected? It's actually protected no matter who wins, East or West. If they lead a spade here, your jack is protected. Let's bring up the 4 hands and have a look. If West, for example, leads a low spade, you can win this with your jack. Actually, it turns out you could actually win it with your 9, but you can definitely win it with the jack. And now your clubs are set up and you'll be able to take the remaining club tricks. So you can now take your club tricks. And at the end, you've got a heart. When you play the diamond here, you may well not finesse because you don't want to go down. Just take your diamonds. And you might well, you might win the one more trick there, and the opponents will win the last one. So
Tony,
yeah,
on that last, can you just go back a moment to what you've just done? Why don't they win with the queen and then they've got the 10 winner?
Yeah, so
Why did they play the 10?
right, I think that's a mistake, isn't it? Yeah. So they of course, yeah, they should have played the 10, the queen there. Sorry,
Yeah.
I put there was a mistake in the play there. Right?
Oh, sorry. It's just
No, you're quite right. Yeah, of course they should. Yeah, when I saw that, that looked a bit odd. Yeah, of course they should play the queen there, but you'll still make 10 tricks there. Let's just see what happens though if you don't win the first trick. So again, if they lead a spade, and if you duck, which is what most of you did, now you're in trouble because East, having won that, should return another spade, which you have to win with your ace. And now your Jack of Spades is no longer a stopper. So if you now cross to dummy and try the same thing again, West will get in and West will cash the Queen of Spades and defeat the contract by making all those spade tricks. So most of you had the right idea there that based on the opening lead and the play, West actually is more likely to have the Queen of Spades, much more likely, but a lot of you did the wrong thing by ducking the first trick, okay? So if you take the king with the ace, your Jack is still protected and you'll make 2 tricks in spades now. Plus you have another stopper there. Any comments or questions on that? So that's all about making the right inferences and also figuring out the right line of play. Let's have a look at another one. Here you've opened 1 heart. West overcalls 2 spades, which if you ask what that means, he says that's a weak jump overcall, showing a 6-card spade suit. North, however, bids 4 hearts, and that ends the auction. And the opponents lead the King of Spades. So let's have a look at how this one might go, and let's try and work out our possible losers here. We've got actually more trumps in dummy, so you can look at it from dummy's point of view or from your hand's point of view if you prefer. Either way, it looks like we're only going to lose 1 spade trick because we'll be able to, as assuming we can ruff after that. We might lose a heart. I don't think we're going to lose any diamonds because we've got a singleton opposite the ace, and we're going to lose a club. We're missing the ace there. So seems like we're going to lose what? A spade, a club, and maybe a heart. Now, the interesting question on this hand is how are you going to play the trumps here? You have 9 trumps here, missing the queen, and the normal way to play that is to just cash the ace and the king and hope that the queen drops. However, on this hand, because of the bidding, because West bid 2 spades, it means that they presumably started with a 6-card suit. And if West started with 6 spades, how many spades did he start with? Well, let's work it out. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He started with only 2 spades. So the normal way to play this is a little affected by the fact that West started with a lot of spades and he started with only a few. And in fact, you can put this information into the suit play program, which I'm just going to bring up now. So if I put in this suit combination into suit play and calculate the best line to play, it's saying that I've got a 57.9% chance of making all 5 tricks. And I can either play line A or line B. Line A is to cash the ace of spade, cash the ace, and then cash the king. And line B is to play them the other way around. But suit play has this option that allows you to put in this idea of vacant places. And if I click on this link here, I can put in how many vacant places there are in the East-West hands. Now, because West started with 6 spades, we presume, that means they only have 7 vacant places for other cards, okay? And if West started with 6, that means that East started with 2 spades, and that means that East has 11 vacant places. And if I do this analysis again, it will tell me that now my chance of making all 5 tricks has gone up to 70%, and that the best way of playing this has changed. In other words, it's the line it's going to guide me on is, if I start, for example, from my hand, I would take the first trick with the king, and then if I lead from dummy, and if the queen doesn't appear, then I should finesse against it, play the jack or the 10. And playing that way, I have a much better chance. And it's based on the bidding. So anytime the opponents make a bid, especially some kind of preemptive bid, you should try to think about the likelihood of the missing cards. And obviously, you're not going to do this kind of analysis yourself every time. But what you're going to do is think, okay, the fact that West here, the West here overcalled with a 6-card suit makes it more likely that the other cards, apart from the spade suit, are in the East hand. And in particular, the card I'm thinking about here is the Queen of Hearts. So the best line to play after this bidding is to win the first trick. Then maybe we're going to cross over to the King of Hearts and play a low heart. And if the Queen hasn't appeared here, we'll finesse. We'll play the 10 or the Jack. And the odds are that that will succeed. That's better odds than just playing your ace. And if that is the case, we can now draw that last trump with the Queen and avoid the loser to the Queen of Hearts. After this, we might, for example, play our clubs. Okay, East can get in there. If they play a diamond back, we're not going to risk a finesse here. We're going to play the ace. And then if I bring up the 4 hands at this point, if we actually play a diamond here, West will have to play their king. And so you can ruff it. And now you can cash your remaining clubs and actually discard a spade on this one. Then ruff a spade. Your Queen of Diamonds is good. And you can ruff the last trick. And you can actually make 12 tricks on this layout if you play East to have the Queen of Hearts and finesse against it. So, you know, it's not guaranteed, but it improves your options if you take that, try to make that deduction. Even if West had maybe just made a 1 spade overcall, it still shifts the odds that East is more likely to have the Queen there than West does. So that's still a deduction you should try and make. Anyone have any comments or questions on that? Let's try another one. This time it's gone 1 no trump, 3 no trump. And the lead is the 3 of spades. Okay, and let's have a little think about this. We've got what? 2 spade tricks, 3 heart tricks, 2 diamond tricks, and 1 club trick. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 top tricks there. If you look at the hands, you can see there might be an option to make some extra tricks there, perhaps in diamonds or hearts, if either suit breaks evenly. So that's one possibility. Let's suppose we start off by playing low from dummy, and East plays the Queen, and we win that with the King. I've got another poll question for you coming up now. And let me just bring it up. And the question is, who do you think has got the Jack of Spades? Is it West or East? Let me share the results with you. And most people have gone for West, 89%, but 2 people went for East. And let's see what we think about it. We know that West led the 3 of spades there, and presumably that is their best suit. Presumably that's they've led from a 4-card or longer suit headed by the Jack, with the Jack, and it would be very odd for them to lead a spade unless if they didn't have the Jack. The lead makes it very likely that West has got the Jack, and we can use that to our advantage because we can now finesse against the Jack and win a trick with the 10 of spades. Okay, the Queen and the King have all gone. You've still got the Ace 10, and if West has the Jack of spades, which you expect, you can make another trick there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do at some point. We're going to lead a low spade, or maybe the opponents will lead a spade, but either way, we're going to make a 3rd spade trick with the 10. Okay, so what we'll do on this hand is we probably won't play spades ourselves. We might go for our best suit, perhaps hearts, and maybe try to set up the diamonds. Now, we've got to lose a diamond in order to make an extra trick there. So let's suppose we play a diamond which loses, and suppose West now plays the 2 of spades. Well, we need to stick to our conviction that West has got the Jack over there, and we need to play the 10 here. And indeed, on this layout, I'll just bring up the 4 hands. The 10 does win the trick, and that's actually your 9th trick. Let's suppose you switch now back to diamonds, and the diamonds here divide favorably for you, so you can make another trick with the 8 of diamonds. You can now see if you can make an extra trick in hearts, but the hearts don't divide, but you've still got your extra diamond and extra spade there. You're up to 8 tricks now, maybe make 9 tricks there, and maybe just take 10 tricks there. After that, I think you're going to lose these last tricks to the King of Clubs and the Jack of Hearts. But you made 10 tricks there, and really just based on the deduction that West surely has got the Jack of Spades after the first trick. Anyone have any comments on that? So it's all about making that assumption that based on the play to the first trick that West has got the Jack, and then putting that into to make use of that, to realize that you can now make a trick by finessing against the Jack of Spades. You all happy with that one? Okay, so here's the final one we're going to look at, and this one was actually taken from a book of bridge puzzles. So this one is actually quite tricky, but it uses the same techniques as we've been looking at, of looking at the bidding that's gone and also the play, and trying to make the deductions about where the missing high cards are. So you open first of all, there are 3 passes, which is important here. West and East both passed originally. And then you bid 1 spade, North bid 2 spades, East doubles, and South here you bid 3 spades, and you end up in 4 spades, and West leads the 2 of clubs there. So it's worth thinking about what that lead means, and thinking about how you're going to play this hand. So if we look at the suits together, we can see we have quite a lot of losers here. We might lose to the Queen of Spades, that's 1 loser. We might lose 1 trick in hearts. We might lose to the Queen of Diamonds, that's another loser. And we've got 2 club losers. So we start off with 5 potential losers here, okay? Obviously, when the time comes, we can try things like finessing in diamonds or finessing in spades. But let's see what happens. We lead. They lead the 2 of clubs. East plays the king and carries on with the ace. And West plays the 4. So East has won the first 2 tricks with the king and then the ace of clubs. And then they lead the 2 of hearts. And suppose you play the jack and it loses to the king and you play your ace. So that's 3 tricks gone. And I've got some questions for you about some of the missing high cards. So based on the bidding and based in particular so far on the play, the questions are about the missing.
Gone.
Sorry?
2 tricks gone.
Sorry?
Not 3 tricks gone, 2 tricks gone.
3 tricks have gone, yeah.
No, altogether.
Yeah, 3 tricks have gone. So I'm going to ask you some questions about the missing high cards. And the first question, they're all going to come up in one poll together. So who's got the Queen of Clubs? Who's got the Jack of Clubs? And who do you think has the Queen of Hearts? So who has the Queen of Clubs? Who has the Jack of Clubs? And who has the Queen of Hearts, do you think? So I'm going to launch that poll and see if you can answer those questions. I suggest you answer them in order. Try and work out who's got the Queen of Clubs based on the play to the first trick, then who's got the Jack of Clubs, and then try and work out who's got the Queen of Hearts. And this is assuming that you're playing against good opponents who leave the right card depending on what they have. So this won't work if your opponents are not playing correctly, but let's assume that they are. Okay, let's have a look at the results. These are not particularly easy. Let's see what you said. Okay, so for the first one, it's 60-40. Most of you have said East has got the Queen of Clubs. Then for the second one, most of you, 73%, said East got the Jack of Clubs. And again, by 60-40, 60% have said East has got the Queen of Hearts. Well, let's switch back to the hand and see what we think. So what happened was that West led a low club and East won the first trick with the king. So when East plays the king, that means that they do not have the queen. Third hand should be playing high as necessary. And if East has played the king at the first trick, it means that West has got the queen. So West has got the Queen of Clubs. Okay. And then East played the second club, the ace. And the other question is, can you deduce who's got the Jack of Clubs? Well, the clue here is in the lead that West originally led a low club. And if they'd had a sequence containing the Queen of Clubs and the Jack of Clubs, they should have led the Queen of Clubs. So when they led a low club, they had an honor, the Queen, but they didn't have any kind of sequence. So I think the answers to those questions are that East started with the ace, king, and Jack of Clubs, and their partner West started with a queen. Okay, that's a sort of reasonable deduction that you should make if the opponents have been playing correctly. Now, what about the heart situation? Well, East then led the 2 of hearts. The lead of low card suggests an honor, and West played the king, which you won with the ace. So let's see, can we work out, does East have the queen? Well, the lead of a low card is one clue that they started off with the queen. The other is that if West started with the queen, they would have had the king and the Queen of Hearts, and maybe they would have led a heart. The king from a 2-card sequence might be more attractive than leading low from the queen of clubs. So all those bits of evidence suggest that East has got the queen of hearts there. So East, we now know, if we believe our deductions, started off with the ace, king, and jack of clubs, and they've also got the queen of hearts. And if you think about it, that is 10 points. If you believe your deductions, East started off with those 10 points there, the ace, king, jack of clubs, and the queen of hearts. And if you look at the bidding, both West and East passed originally. So I've got the last poll for you. And the poll question is, who has the queen of spades and who has the queen of diamonds? Okay, let's have a look at the results. And the majority, by about 2 to 1 in each case, have gone for West. 64 to 36 have said that West has those missing queens. And that is actually the right deduction to make, because East has, we've accounted so far for them having the ace, king, jack of clubs, and the queen of hearts. That's 10 points. If they had another queen, that would be 12 points, and they presumably would have opened the bidding. So the fact that they passed probably means that West has got both of those missing queens. So what that means is we're going to finesse in such a way that assumes that West has got the queen of spades. And we're also not really going to try the diamond finesse either, because it's likely that West has got the queen of diamonds. So if we take those both deductions, let's assume that West has got those missing queens. And if we play the diamonds, maybe we'll play a diamond over here. We won't try the finesse. We'll just play the ace. And now we're going to eventually finesse against West. You might start off here by cashing the king of diamonds. If you do, you get the nice surprise, perhaps, that the queen drops. So you're not going to lose a diamond now. And now we're going to finesse in spades. And if they don't play the queen, we're going to finesse against them and win with the jack. You can now draw the last trump, and we'll make that jack of diamonds now. We can play out our trumps perhaps here, but at the end we should lose one more trick with the last heart, and we should be able to just make our 10 tricks there. So this was a hand with sort of a number of deductions there. Based on the play to the first club, you can place that East has got the ace king, not the queen, and the jack. And then if you assume they've also got the queen of hearts based on the play, then the two missing queens would have to be in the West hand, and you can avoid the spade loser by finessing. And there's also no real point trying the diamond finesse, because West should have the queen of diamonds there. So that's a very tricky one, involving a number of deductions. But if you take them in turn, you can often make some deductions, and that can often lead you to try a better line of play here. And that clue of opponents passing is a big clue. If they show up, with 10 points, having passed originally, you can assume they don't have any of the other missing high cards.
Tony?
Hello.
It's been incredibly interesting. It's made me realize how badly I play, that I don't actually think much about what the other people have been bidding.
Right.
On the other hand, if one is playing a game, it takes a lot of thought. I mean, maybe one gets better at it if one applies it more. But, it's a bit daunting.
It is. I know what you mean. I think a situation like this, though, the earlier one is not quite so difficult, is it? You know, they lead a low spade, and if the queen appears, you can pretty much be certain that West has got the jack over there. And so
I think there's some very good rules of thumb or tips, actually. Yeah.
So obviously you know, some of that last one was, you know, I included it really because it's a bit of fun, really. I mean,
no, I wasn't talking about the last one. No. I was talking about it all.
yeah. But
anyway, thank you very much.
Do try and think about that, and also think about, you know, if they make a preempt or something, it makes it much more likely that the other hand's got, you know, missing honors. So that's well worth thinking about. But thank you for the feedback, and you know, do try this. Try this from time to time. I know
I'll be playing superbly now. Thank you very much.
I know it might give you a headache too to do all this thinking.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you all very much.
You'll have to give us more time for each hand if we've got to work it all out.
Sometimes with more time, things go badly, don't they? All right, we'll stop sharing that now, and we're going to start the game at 2 o'clock. If anyone needs a partner, you can speak up now or just join the game. Is anyone here looking for a partner? I see Roma's got a finger raised. Anyone else? Ashwini, would you like to play together? Would that be all right for you both? Okay, good. I'll see the rest of you online then. Thank you all very much. Bye-bye. Bye.